Hey everybody, and we're live again. Let me do a quick sound test. Sound test. I think it sounds okay. Yeah. Let me see if I should pull the microphone a little bit more close. But I think it should work this way. If you can't hear me so good, let me know in the chat. I will do a quick warm-up. And then we're going to finish the One Piece animation. So, let's see how long I'm going to stream today. I'm a little bit sick. I got a cold. So my voice is also not the best at the moment. But I should survive it. Let's hope so. And have fun during the stream. Sketching some cubes in perspective to warm up a little bit. And it's also cool you find the time to animate more regularly or to sketch a couple of days in a row. You feel like more already in the beginning of your sketching session, of your practice session. You already feel more warmed up. That's a cool thing. So I'm sketching here a couple of cubes in perspective. To warm up a little bit. Making a couple of straight lines. I'm not sure how it's for you. If you also have something like a warm-up routine. But that's something that is always helping me to have that routine. And also now the last weeks focused more on animation, but to find the time also to do some anatomy practice again or some figure drawing practice would be also great. And maybe always doing a little bit of both. So sketching figures, practice anatomy, but at the same time also learning more about 2D animation. So sketching just a figure here to get into the streaming session, this practice session. And just having fun. Sketching a couple of figures here. And that also helps a lot when you want to animate characters, to practice from time to time a little bit how the body is working and get a more natural feeling for it. That then can help when sketching different poses, when starting to animate the character. If you have a good understanding how the body moves. For me, there's also still a lot of room for improvement, but it's always a fun practice to take the time and understand the human body better, and yeah, getting more confident with sketching the human body. Then also to place the human body more in perspective. It's also great practice. For example, here we can place the rib cage in it. Connect the neck with the rib cage and the body. Add some ellipses indicating the shoulders. Now another box for the hips. And now we're sketching the legs, indicating here with an X the perspective grid and where the vanishing points are. And like that, we can place a character in perspective, and that helps a lot to then also being able to animate a figure in perspective. This is also something I'm planning to do in the next weeks. Sketch more figures in perspective. Maybe first with a walk cycle, or also then with a one cycle, to get that practice in. But as a foundation to sketch or to practice or to sketch these cubes here in perspective is super helpful. Sketch them from different angles. So you're practicing and teaching your brain to be more active in, or getting more used to sketch from different angles, like that. And also being able to rotate a box in perspective is also super helpful. To learn that, you can sketch a box here in perspective, like that. And your one vanishing point is somewhere there on the horizon, and the other one is somewhere there. So, and now to let that box rotate in perspective, you just start at this corner here, sketch a line in that with that angle, and now you can see the angle that is opening here, and to a similar degree you then can sketch also an angle here that has a similar angle, and then you go from here a little bit less because it's depends also how close you are at the vanishing point, and if you're looking more on a box, let's see, with a more narrow angle at the top, like that. Or if you're looking at the box more from top, then of course rotating it changes also then how much you want to change here this distance, this here. And then you can just, it's also something you can feel out, doesn't have to be perfect, but then, so these first two angles here are super important, and then you just can go down here and also sketch the other lines on at the bottom, also towards the vanishing point, and connect them here. And that's how you can rotate a box in perspective. And then with time, if you get more used to doing that, you also develop a more natural feeling for these angles, so you can rotate a little bit more freely your boxes in perspective on one plane. And yeah, doesn't take so much brain resources. And then you could also sketch another one here, another one for another box here. So, and that's how you can practice how to sketch boxes in perspective and get a better feeling for how to, rotate boxes, and also how to place different objects on one scene without relying every time on a perspective grid or all the construction lines. And to develop that natural feeling, it's also helpful in 2D animation. Okay, I think that was a good warm-up session. Now let's jump back into the animation. I think we have to do another one here. So let's get straight back into it. We have to color a couple more frames. And I think when I'm done with the coloring, we'll again go over a couple of frames here and clean it up just a little bit, and also increase the line weight slightly. The best way, of course, to really finish this animation would again to do another line, even two more new animation rows where we got over this animation and improve the line weight. Improve a little bit some shapes that could work or even be worked out a little bit better. But for now, and for this animation practice, I think we're good to leave it that way. Also to leave it in a little bit in a rough way. So I think that's okay. Oh yeah, this space here has to stay empty. Now where I'm seeing it correctly. Let's make the brush a little bit smaller, so we are staying in that range here. Like that. And it's funny, you can hear a little bit in my voice that I'm a little bit sick. It always sounds so serious if I say I'm sick. Maybe you say better, okay, I have a cold. Not sure about that. But yeah. Let's paint our way in it. So that's for this part. We can see, I think I indicated here a little bit to see also on the red here, side. Now let's do the body here. And again, that's also cool to know for the future. These coloring session can be definitely a little bit more relaxed. It's good to know. Now we're going to sketch here the hand. Going down here. Sketching it from here. Like that. And I'm also super curious in terms of 2D animation. If there's a point where you say, okay, now I yeah, I just learned so much. You almost play it through like a video game, but just with 2D animation. Curious about that. When is the point where you then also set yourself more and more complex challenges, for example, animating more complex scenes. And how long do you take to get there? That's an interesting question. Also would be interesting to research what is one of the most complex animated scenes for 2D animation. Sounds also like an interesting question. Maybe just googling it gives some great answers. So I think for this one we did the skin. Now let's continue with this part here. Filling in the colors. And again, it's a little bit satisfying to do that. And I have to write on my to-do list that I want to buy the things to practice traditional animation, and maybe also then do a stream where I share the process of learning traditional animation. Let's see if we're going to do that. But I imagine it also to be super fun to learn that. So sometimes I'd like to start with the outlines. I'm not doing the wrong outlines. And then sometimes I'm taking immediately a bigger brush. Depends also on the shape you're sketching in. And then switching to a bigger brush and coloring the rest. Different colors of the pants monkey Luffy had in the whole series over the 1,000 episodes. Be interesting to see. Hey Desire, super cool to see you. I hope you had a great day. And yeah, cool that you're joining the stream. Not sure in which time zone you are, or if you have the day ahead or in front of you. But I hope you're doing well. And cool to see you. So here we missed the skin color. So let's add that. Today we have a couple more frames to go in terms of coloring. I think I will be able to finish them today. And then maybe just going over a little bit over the lines here and cleaning them up just a little bit. Yeah, I already said that the best way would be, if you really want to bring it to a finish level, to do even one more overpass or two to improve a couple of shapes. Then also do a clean line work. But for a study, I think it's okay that way. So take the next one here and color this one. And the sandals here. Like that. Super cool. Super cool to add colors. I feel like even only this color here, this one, I'm also sketching the arrow right now, is making or has a big influence on the total read of the colors, even if it's just a small accent, but I still feel like that it's important. So before having too many arrows here in the animation, let's erase them. So now let's do the hairs here. Painting the hairs. The color also I think has a slightly, red, slightly reddish tone. Okay, I think I have to, especially with the hairs, be a little bit more careful with the outlines here. So let's first do the outlines here with the hairs. And then we're going to take a bigger brush. Right now, if we're looking at it like that, the hairs looks a little bit like a nightmare. But especially, there could be so much to be cleaned up. Maybe I will do that in a second, but I mean for one frame, you're seeing only just so shortly. Filling in the gaps here. Like that. Cool. Cool. And then give a little bit more love here to the hairs. Just fixing a couple of strokes here. That's already a little bit better. So, not perfect, but better than before, I would say. Now the straw hat. It's also fun sometimes to even do it the other way. So you're painting in big the color and then erasing the outside. Also a good method. And also something interesting, we also at some point maybe to animate in Photoshop. I never did that, but would be also fun. I think even Adobe has an animation software. I think it's called Adobe Animate. Not 100% sure, but that could be also fun to see what the differences are. And maybe also see each of these programs then also have a specific use case they're designed for, what it is, for example, for Photoshop or... Okay, Photoshop, I know it's not made for animation, 2D animation. But Adobe Animate, what's that more made for? Interesting to find out. So here also we missed this color. Let's add that quickly. So, and here we also missed it. I think this was also the last run we did. So now again we're on track. And we can do the next one. 1, 2, 3 more to go. Cool. Let's again start here with the jacket. Do the outline first. And then we do the rest. Again, if you have any questions, let me know in the chat. Happy to help. And I'm happy even today to be live. So I'm a little bit sick. I got a cold, if that's the correct way to say it in English. Sick always sounds so serious. But you can hear it a little bit in my voice. But I'm still alive. And I think that's the most important thing. I forgot here to add a line for the jacket. Maybe we can get around with it like that. And these were also the ones where we were a little bit rough in the line work, just in terms of finding out how we wanted to mirror different the arm, the legs. And then I was happy with it at that time, 2 days ago or yesterday. I think we did this drawing and I left it that way. I think it's okay, but yeah, just seeing that I forgot a couple of lines here. And in a second we can again use the bigger brush to fill the color completely in. Cool. Forgot a part here. But also to see that wave motion in different points is super helpful. Cool. So I was just reading a chat, but I think, yeah, thanks you for taking the time to write it in. I will check that out. Maybe sounds more like a like advertising. So we're here. And now again the body color. The body color. I just started today to watch Dune. Not sure if you have watched it. I'm seeing it for the first time. I'm around half, maybe something like halfway in it. And it's fun. I mean, it's not so often that you see new sci-fi content. So it's cool to see. Desire ad sweating. They sent it to everybody who was just started streaming. Okay, thank you for letting me know. That's also fun. Maybe that's their marketing strategy, or they have. I wonder if these are real persons or if it's a bot. But that's good to know. Yeah, and I watched Dune, and it's, I mean, a lot. Oftentimes, when watching new sci-fi and we're seeing new things, we always get remembered on sci-fi elements we already know, like from Star Wars, from Alien, from different sci-fi universes we are familiar with, and then it's always cool to see like which different choices they made during the movie. So how different is the technology looking, the way they're moving from A to B, from planet A to B. That's always interesting to see. But I think also sometimes, yeah, it can be a high risk to produce sci-fi movies because you have to invent so many or think of so many things. And I think it's also based on a book. Does I add as well? It's the same as just copy paste. Yeah, it looks like that. It doesn't look like he came here in the chat and took the time to write that message. I think they also, I mean, it's probably a big, yeah, a big revenue stream, if you want to say it like that, where a lot of small startups, or even bigger, but a lot of companies trying to make money with all around everything around streaming. But I think also probably a big competition, because the things he mentioned there, I think many platforms or sites are offering things like that. And if I read it right, I don't know even where's the point to buy viewers or bots. Imagine you're talking to a chatbot. What feeling is that? I mean, if I'm saying it like that, it sounds funny. But imagine even with ChatGPT, you don't even realize at some point that you're talking just to different chatbots. Sounds also super weird. And I even just thought that is a thing, to buy and stream viewers, followers, chatbots. I mean, I understand if, for example, agency or brands are promoting their content on socials and paying for money for it. That's a different thing. But to buy views, I know that's a thing in the music industry. So if they upload a song, they're buying a lot of views, and so they are more visible in the trends in the first 24 hours. But yeah, it doesn't sound so sustainable just for the career of a musician or of an artist to buy those kind of things. Then building it up more organically, and yeah, it takes longer. But what is the point to buy those bots? So I think I made the final decision here. It's not that I was even close to thinking about buying it, but it's good that it's now out of the room and clear. So let's continue here. And it's also funny that while talking, my brain goes a little bit in AFK mode. And I can talk about different subjects or topics. And I forgot for a second what I'm doing here. And then I'm in the middle of coloring this animation. But that's also funny to see. So let's do this one here. And working our way through it. Like that. Cool. Now let's do also, if we already there, the feet here. This part. Now also this part. Let's see that we're staying clean. Also here we have super rough lines, but it's okay for now. Let's keep it that way. And let's move on. Now again the hairs. And it's already 49 minutes in. Why is the timing always flying? It's so crazy. The time is flying. The time is always flying. So first we made the outlines, and now we make the brush a little bit bigger. Like that. Cool. Let's see, I also forgot here to add this line. Let's add that. Now let's add it also here. Also for the face. Also forget it here. And here. Also now here. And this part. Now let's add this part. And we're coloring our way through it. So here we have to just be a little bit patient. And yeah, and that's also crazy to see when adding colors. Even with a more complex animation, the time, how long we take to finish an animation gets way more, longer. But also when coloring it, it's even one more time longer. That's crazy to see. Yeah, at the end, you really, if you also want to create a short film or something like that, why it's so important to plan out each scene. Cool. I think we have everything for this one. So I'll make a quick break, already 52 minutes streaming, and then I'm back to create this one and this one. 2 more to go, super excited for that. Then also going a little bit over the line work, maybe do a reacting to a little bit to some content, but let's see that in a second. And yeah, break maximum 5 to 10 minutes. And yeah, see you. Thanks for watching so far. And we are back again. Let me do a quick sound test. Test.
A quick sound.
Yes, sounds okay. If not, let me know in the chat. That would be great. And we're creating here a new layer. And we're almost through the animation. That's cool. And also crazy that it takes a couple of sessions here to finish the animation. Especially also coloring. It's just a process that takes more time to do. Also, it makes so much sense that the bigger studios have all different tasks when producing something animated. That you have people who are coloring the animation, people who are doing the roughs, and yeah, because it's a big teamwork. That's also interesting to see, of course. And also there's a question, if you would like to work in an animation studio, or if I'm thinking about maybe doing more animated work also professionally in the future, which role I would like to work in, or what I would like to do. I think in the beginning, of course, the reality that you have to do some things to get to a different point, for example directing or something. You have to do first more, let's call it basic work. Yeah, but even that can be a lot of fun. Also coloring, and in the long run depends also on your preferences, or maybe on how long you're doing something. Maybe if you only most of the time planning animations, that at some point you want to switch the task you're doing. But yeah, I think there are a lot of possibilities. So, catching the leg there. Here we have these little smears. Let's do it like that. Everything is more and more rough here. Let's do a line like that. Fill in here the colors, and then add a couple smears like that here to the leg. Like that, I think that's okay. And here it's clearly to see that it looks almost like a first line lined, and the first lines are placed here to figure out how this animation could look like. Look on the colors here. I think that's for the skin. I'll do the sweat part here. And yeah, today also more chill stream. I'm a little bit thick, I have a little cold, so not talking so much to take care a little bit of my voice. So getting closer and closer to finishing also this one here. And I'm super excited to see when I'm finishing later the movie Dune, how the ending will be. And the second part, I think, the second movie right now is in cinemas. Let's see how that one is. And also an animated show I wanted to watch is the Cyberpunk one, the anime version. I think that had also good critics. To check that out. And I think it's also animated in a cool way. Not sure if somebody of you have watched it, but I think it's also worth watching it and checking that out. Let's add the skin tone here, the remaining. Few spots left here. And a little bit we can see here. Fill in that color. Cool. We're getting closer to finish this animation. And it's probably already one of the longest animation I worked on in terms of coloring. So I haven't created yet any super longer animations. Of course, a couple of animations took longer because I was learning it for the first time. But that's also excited to do more from time to time, more longer projects and see how that is going. But especially the wave motion here now with colors is coming also more to life. That's also cool to see. Then again we're doing the hairs. Let's design the outlines first. And now we can use again a bigger brush. close the lines here. And again, now already over 1 hour into the stream. Time is flying again. What we have here. And something I would love to animate at some point is also something more sport related. I really love watching animated shows around sport. So be it volleyball, soccer, basketball. But it's a little bit here. You could almost call it guilty pleasure to watch sport animated shows. Super fun. And to even write one, or produce one for myself, or create a comic or manga, and then animate one, I think that would be lovely. Let's see if I'm going to do it at some point in the future. Maybe around soccer. I'm not sure yet. It's also crazy that, of course, there are a lot of produced. Like also the boxing one, Hajime no Ippo. Then we have just started to see Slam Dunk, but haven't finished it yet. Only a couple of the first episodes. What's the other one called? Already forgot the name. That one was also good. Then we had Blue Lock last year. That one was also entertaining. And then you have the swimming one, the ones where they're running. So there are a couple of different ones. XX is writing hola. Hey, good to see you. Thank you for joining to the stream. We're in the middle of finishing this animation here. There are a couple, only one frame to go, and then we finished. And again, I'll go over the lines and cleaning up the lines a little bit. But that's where we are right now. Let me see if I forgot. Yeah, I still have to make the feeds. And as you can see, it's still a little bit rough, everything. So if we would to proper finish this animation, we would have to do another row of animation where we do a clean up the lines. But for now, and for the study, I think it's okay if it's a little bit rough. Already learned a lot with this animation. So, yeah. Also, if you see something, let me know in the chat. And now we almost can go to coloring the last one. That's super cool. Also fun now that 9 frames already took almost 3 hours or something, or more. Not sure yet, but that's also crazy to see that coloring these animation also takes its time. But yeah, with sport animated shows, I definitely want to watch more. There's a couple more of gems out there. But I love how they are built up. A little bit, yes, similar. I'm not sure even if it's called shonen, but similar to the category shonen, where they have to practice, and then they have stronger opponents. and they have to practice together. It's about friendship. It's about the team. It's about overcoming challenges and grow as a sportsman, as a character. So all those kind of fun things, to have them in an animated show is always fun to see. And you even have that similar storytelling in, for example, Drive to Survive. If you have watched it on Netflix, they're also, it's similar. It's similar to sport animes, Drive to Survive. Salimeta Wayne, cool that you're joining the stream. Apologies your name. Not sure what you're meaning with that, but if you have any question, let me know. Or if you're referencing to the animated shows I'm talking about. But yeah, it's cool to see that in different formats, also on Netflix, for example, Drive to Survive, or the show All or Nothing, if you have watched it, about different teams, sport teams, football teams, that the storytelling in the end is similar, or have parallels also to the Japanese sport animes. And also I feel sometimes sport, basketball, you can also have similar challenges in terms of how you want to grow, or which challenges you have to overcome also as an artist. That sometimes it's also more a battle with yourself and with your own psychology that can be challenging. For example, if you want to practice consistently, you have to, take off a lot of things, take care of, so you find the time and are in a positive mood when practicing. So there are a lot of things coming together. Also with storytelling, you have to understand your own psychology, to then being able to create other characters, or also referencing from your own experiences and then telling stories or create characters from it. And also I'm planning to, at the time, writing my first short story. Not sure if I'm being able to finish the first chapter and also animating it, how far I will come. Maybe also animating all the first chapter, but maybe also sharing that process, how I'm going to write it, what's challenging, and then also I'm the sketching process, maybe also sharing it here in the stream, how I'm sketching the comic or the manga, the first chapters. I think would be also fun to share that. So now here's the body, and we are almost through it. This is the last key drawing we have to color. Cool. As you can see, sometimes it's just easier to take a big brush and then erase from the outside. Now again the red part here. I also like the playlist running in the background. I think you can hear it not so loud, but a little bit of it. It's from Zelda. Also helping to relax, to getting in that Zen mode while animating. And for me it's also, I already get, so of course you have to be patient, especially when coloring these animations here. But I already want to start the next animation. So to be patient here is also not always so easy. But we almost through it. That's great. We almost through it. Yeah, I did some improvements with the line work. You can see that. And yeah, then I think in the next stream, learning a little bit more again from the Animator Survival Kit, how to animate jumps, for example. And then also sketching characters walking in perspective. Let's see what we can learn there. And maybe at some point also doing tutorials from the Dongchang channel to improve the skills there. Also how Japanese animations, how animes are made. I think on that channel we can learn a lot on that. How are we going to do that? That's the plan for the next streams. Adding here some colors, and for the last time finally sketching in here the hairs. I can't wait to see if we finished already in a second. I think there's everything here. We can fill it with the hair color. Yeah. Did we missed out something? Yeah, this one, this color here. We missed out. And we're almost done. We almost done. Almost done. Did it. Great feeling. Amazing feeling. Imagine the feeling you're working 2 years on an animated film, and then you're at the point where you're almost setting the last keyframe, the last colored piece, and you almost threw it. Oh, that also must feel amazing. Here's still a piece I missed. So I see also my concentration is going away, is fading away. So let's add that here. And this one also has to be red. Like that. And it has to be gray. And I think that's it if I'm seeing here we also. take that line, make it like that, maybe like that, it's okay. Now we're going to erase that here. A little explanation from last time. Yeah. Clean up these things. And that's where we are right now. I think it's looking fun. Let me know what you think. But looks like a fun animation so far. Of course, the line work at some points could be improved. I think I will go over it quickly in a second. Tony Raw writing GG, well played. Thank you. Great to hear that you liked it. Yeah, it would be fun if we would be in a video game, and that's how to finish the level is to complete the animation. But yeah, I think it looks cool. Working good. Also, if we're looking at the different elements, like for example, this element here, choose a different color, how it's moving in the F and C curve. Also how the jacket is moving like that. The hairs, the head is going back and forth. Different kind of elements, the arm, the leg movement. Cool, I think it was a great study. And yeah, so let's quickly, I think that's the last thing I'm going to do for today. To go again over the line work just a little bit. And clean it up just a couple of lines that are opened. So here to close these connections a little bit. Clean up a couple of parts. And you see here a couple of things you can clean up. And then we finished with this animation. Let's see if I'm going to upload it on Instagram, on my socials, or on TikTok. The finished animation. Not sure yet, or shared in my stories. But how I'm going to animate it, or how I animated it, I will share on my socials. There are highlights. If you missed the part and cut everything together, the things I learned in this study. So it's everything together at one point. And these small things here, these lines, these messy lines, you can find a lot still in the animation. It is, I said, for a rough one, it's okay. Or for a study. But if we wanted to proper finish it, I would just go over it and do again a pass where I completely do a new line work. There we go. For now, we'll close a couple of gaps here. And then we also can compare in a second how it's the difference on one frame where we cleaned up a little bit the lines and the other frame where we didn't clean it up. How much of a difference it is making. We can look at it in a second. But even to close a couple of lines here, I think is helpful for the eye to read the drawing. Also closing it here. So almost through around the character, clothing the lines. And you see then how much work it is also then really to finish a clean animation. How much work it can be. And yeah, I think already it makes a big difference, even if I've completely finished it to clean it up. But you can still see that little difference in cleaning it up. That it's important or helpful for the eye, yeah, to just take the time and clean up the drawing a little bit. Now let's clean up some lines here that we don't need. Yeah. So I think I will leave it like that for today. Super fun session. Learned a lot from animating these characters. Today it streamed 1.5 hours. Thank you so much for watching everyone, for joining the stream. As I add X maybe, not sure if you pronounce the name, Tony Ra, Salamita Wayne. Thank you everyone for joining. It was super fun. Hope to see you one of the next stream. I will, yeah, like I said, cut together the highlights here. And yeah, learned a lot from it. Super cool. One last thing I wanted to do is again to go into the One Piece opening and see in which frames they added more shadows maybe in the animation. We can also watch it again quickly. For example, for this beginning animation. So here we have no shadow. Now it's speed up. Do we have here some shadows? I don't think so. But it's animated amazingly. Here we have some shadow in the background. Also here we have some shadow on the top. So... But other than that, it's still flat. Here also we have a lot of smears going on in the middle, how the characters are rotating and coming into the frame, but that looks also super fun. We have the shadows in the middle and light on the outside. Also I like the outlines here they used, super clean outlines. Also a little bit more thick. Also the lighting here looks amazing. Yeah, so cool. I think that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, for joining the stream. And see you. Probably if I am not getting more sick, I will see you tomorrow in the next stream. Thanks for watching. Bye.